1942 proof set. Let's dig into it and see how they look. First, let's take a look at the box here. I think it's pretty cool. So I got this and it's been opened already, unfortunately, but I would have paid far more for it had it not been opened. So I think it's pretty cool. They've got these tabs here and I don't really want to mess with it. This one's already broken off, but it should bend up and go straight up and down. And then it comes through the box there, and then they would have bent over to secure the lid. So I think that's pretty cool. J.C. Collins, Chicago, Illinois. I've gotten a lot of these mint sets from Chicago, so don't know if that's coincidence or maybe I'm getting them from the same seller and I don't realize it. But at any rate, let's see what we got. So they're still in the cellophane, and let's observe the condition of the cellophane. It's crinkly, so it's probably been opened for a while, and there we got one splitting through already. So let's, well, I'm gonna get down my little velvety thing before I dig into this. So I've been gone for quite a while here, guys, and I apologize for that. I haven't been posting videos regularly because, as many of you know, I own a business and things are pretty slow. Normally I've just been doing these videos in less than a year, and I'm probably going to be gone more and doing less videos during the springtime, as that's when my business usually picks up the most. But this year things were pretty slow. Kids were still in school, so I was getting videos out every Sunday, and now I am. So during the summer I'm always busy anyway, but this year got especially crazy because the business was slow in the spring, and then all my spring business seemed to come in the summer, so I've been just running around like crazy. At any rate, I apologize for being gone so much and not getting many videos out there. But let's take a look at the Lincoln. So I'm seeing a lot of die polishing marks in the fields. I'm sure you can see that as well. Same on the reverse. Got some toning to it, speckles and whatnot. But in general, pretty nice looking coin. I'll take a closer look at it with the loop off screen when I'm done with everything and see if there's any varieties or anything that would make it worth more. I'm still a little bit confused about how much the die polishing marks actually affect the value. I would assume just because there is an overall appearance that will affect the value of it. You can see the toning a lot better at this angle. So if the overall appearance has those in there, I would assume you're not going to get any extremely high grades with a bunch of die polishing marks. You're going to get your 69s and 70s from those first coins that were struck on it, if you get lucky enough to find any of those. But overall, pretty good looking coin. I got this just because I've got a goal right now to get as many, well, I want to get all the older proof sets. 1936 is when they started making proof sets in America. They still had proof coins, but all the proof sets were started in 1936, and then I think they went to 1942, which is this one, and then they were stopped until 1950 due to the war effort and whatnot. I gotta say, this is a pretty nice looking nickel. probably is the toning on there, probably hiding some of the polishing marks, but if the toning gives it a good appearance, it can add value to it, because there's some people who just really love toned coins. But it can cover up some of the little imperfections like die polishing marks at times. But yeah, it's a pretty nice looking coin. Looks like he's got something in front of his lips right there. Yeah, I'll take a closer look at it. I don't know, it's a proof coin, but it's got like this matte finish to it. I'm not a big fan of nickels, but this is a pretty nice looking nickel. And Mercury dime proof. This is one that I've been excited about, because the Mercury dime is my favorite dime in the American coins. So I've never had a proof. This will be my first proof Mercury dime. I'm looking at the ridge of her nose and in front of her lip, and I'm wondering if there's not a little bit of doubling there. But that's a pretty coin. I have a whole bunch of Mercury dimes, trying to collect all of them, basically. I want to get a full band set in every year, and mint mark, which I know there's, what is it, the 1916, I think, is the super rare 1916S. Don't fault me. Just because it's my favorite doesn't mean I remember everything, if that's wrong. But this is a beauty. I like this one a lot. On to the quarter. Ooh, lots of die polishing marks. Dang. It's got it on the devices too. Ugh. Not a very pretty quarter. Like, that's super polished. Getting a little bit of speckling above the D in God. Slight toning, but dang. That there's so much polishing, it almost looks like it was cleaned. But how could that be if it's inside the wrapper? That's unfortunate. But just still cool to have one. There's another one that I really wanted to get, because I love the Walking Liberty $50. And $50, that's probably my favorite one as well. So yeah, I really been wanting to get one of these older proof sets. I just have not been able to get one. When I first started pursuing the proof sets, there was one on eBay, 1938 proof set, which is pretty hard to come by, but the seller wanted something like $4,000, and I kept trying to talk him down, and somebody finally bought the thing, which, I mean, it was up there for months and months, and somebody finally pulled the trigger on it. It was just too rich for my blood. I mean, I dump a lot of money on coins, but I'm not gonna put so much money in to where, I mean, I've overpaid for some coins, but if you consider, you wait a few years, the value is gonna go up on them above what I paid. So, but that was just, I think the going rate for it was like 1,600 or something like that, or 2,000, something like that. And man, she was asking just way too much money for that thing. She didn't even know what she had either, because, according to the story, and, you look at the seller, you know what, I just realized, as you can see the stars in the flag there in front of her face. I don't think I've ever noticed that on any of these Walking Liberties. But that's another beauty. But yeah, the seller was just selling all kinds of trinkets and stuff, and apparently she came across this and was selling it, and somebody told her it was worth a ton of money, so she just posted it for a ton of money, and somebody finally took the bait. Good for her. God, I really like these $50 liberties. Walking liberty, standing liberty, whatever you want to call it. Pretty coin. All right, I'm going to dig into these with my loop and see if there's anything particularly special about any of them, and I'll bring you back in. So on the Lincoln Cent, there is no special varieties, and I would say they would probably give me a red-brown rating for this, and it's a pretty nice coin looking at it through the loop. It's just all those stupid polishing marks, and I'm thinking that, you know, it may be a 65. Hard for me to say with what the polishing marks are going to do to me, so let's go with a 64. If it's a 65, it's a $175 coin. If it's a 64, it's a $100 coin. So I've learned with my videos, and you, if you're a subscriber and watch my videos often, you probably realize I should probably go with the lower rating on this. So let's call it a 64 red-brown $100 coin. So here we have the nickel that I liked quite a bit. And it is a really nice coin looking at it under the loop. You got some rainbow toning going through the braid in the back a little bit. You can't see it real good in the video, but there's a little bit on the Monticello as well. It all looks really nice except that little mark in front of his lips. There is a itty bitty, it's like a little die gouge or something. It's definitely in the die. It's not showing any major varieties for this on PCGS, but maybe I'll dig into a little bit more on any of those other coin apps or coin websites to see if there's some kind of variety for that. It's almost like a spittin' Jefferson or something. But I think that's a really nice coin. It's got like a matte finish because of that toning on it, but it's definitely a cool looking coin. I'm going to call it a 65, and it's a $75 nickel. And by the way, if you find any of these coins in your searches in a cameo, oh boy, you are talking big bucks. It's like $3,000 for 65, 66, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but they were good, expensive coins. So here's the Mercury dime, and I gotta say, that is a very beautiful Mercury dime. There's hardly any polishing marks on this one. The center band isn't quite full bands, but they don't really mark that when it comes to the proofs anyway, I think because they assume all the proofs are gonna have full bands. But that's one small imperfection I see on it. And then if you look close, they're actually, I think it's machine doubling. I was pointing out on the nose and the lips, but they don't have any special varieties for this even on Variety Vista. So unfortunately, if it is anything special, it's not something that's been caught yet, but I don't think it's anything more than machine doubling anyway. But yeah, that's a very beautiful coin. I think it has the potential to be a 66, and that would make it a $270 Mercury dime. All right, guys, here's the quarter. So this is super heavily polished. If you look closely, the LIB and the bottom left of the E are so polished that they don't have a sharp edge like the RTY. You know, they're like smoothed out, and yeah, this thing has just been super polished. I have never gotten a proof coin that graded less than a 64, so I'm gonna call it a 64 because I just don't know how much the polishing is gonna hurt me. But yeah, it's like a $70 quarter if it's a 64. Finally, here we have the Walking Liberty $50, and these are my favorite $50 of American coins. And It's not the best strike in the world. You can see on the breast of the eagle here, it's kind of flattened out. Not a great strike, and you can't really define her hand, her left hand, on the center there, so that's kind of also flattened out. A lot of polishing marks as well, but it's still a beautiful coin. I'm gonna say this is probably a 64 as well, and that's a $520 half dollar. I do want to say I wish America would go back to putting their concepts on the coins instead of men and presidents. I just feel you can kind of see a correlation in how freedom and liberty slowly started being eroded in America. And I'm not saying we're not free and we don't have liberties, but we definitely don't have what we once did. And when we used to put our ideals like Lady Liberty on the coins, and everybody has those in their hands every day, and they see the coins and they automatically question, well, who's that? Well, that's liberty, you know. And we just had an ideal of freedom and liberty in this country, and then we started putting our presidents on the coins. And I'm not saying the presidents are bad, but you're worshiping men instead of an idea. Maybe I shouldn't say worship, but they unconsciously started removing liberty from the coins and putting men on the coins instead, or people, whatever you want to call it. And by doing that, you say, well, who's that man? Well, this is George Washington. This is Abraham Lincoln. He did great things. You know, he was a great man. And that's all true. But then we've slowly eroded the concept of liberty in this country when it's not in our face every day. You ask anybody, it doesn't even have to be a young person, somebody under 50 or 40 years old, ask them what liberty is, and they'll say, well, it's freedom. But liberty and freedom are two different things. Freedom is a movement. Liberty is a concept, ideas, things like that. I really wish we would come back out with our ideals on the coins. And I'll tell you right now, if you vote for me for president, I will be putting liberty back on the coins in America. So, vote Rocky 2040. All right, guys. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed any of the content, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.